Nate's out and Nate's in?
Yep.
Oh. You're excited about this. That was your, what? He was drafted like, what, 24th or something? What pick?
Yeah.
Something like that you guys had?
I can't remember the exact pick, but yeah, he was the first round draft pick for the Steelers this last season. I'm excited for it. I think he's a really good piece to the offensive line, especially that's been struggling through the preseason.
And welcome back to another episode of your favorite Couch Potatoes. I am your host, Jay Cubs, joined as always by Feisty and Big Country. How we doing today, boys?
Oh, doing fantastic, bud, as always.
Yep.
It's a Sunday. It's a beautiful day. It's a good day to record, baby. Let's get it.
And football is officially fucking back, baby. Let's go. So we'll get into that. But before we do, I wanted to make a little callback because I was being an idiot last week because we were sitting there talking about who would win the Big Ten and everything. And I'm like, you got to go undefeated. You got to go undefeated. There's a Big Ten championship game. There's a conference championship game for everybody, Kyle. So that's on me. So totally Ohio State can beat Oregon, but then they can match up again in the championship game and beat each other. Or Oregon can beat Ohio State or whatever. So you guys are good. That's on me. I don't know why I just forgot about the championship games last week, but yeah, so good to clear that up, especially if there was any confusion for the viewers. But let's get into the opening game in Ireland, Florida State and Georgia Tech, dude. It was a freaking banger for sure and kind of surprising. I know Florida State wasn't like super huge favorites. I think it was like they opened as like 10-point favorites and then went down to maybe 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was a banger. Florida State, they opened up with a touchdown drive on their very first drive and got a 2-point conversion on a wacky ass looking play. Georgia Tech scores a touchdown on their first drive as well. And then we go field goal from Florida State, and then Georgia Tech actually takes the lead before halftime and makes it 14-11 before Florida State kicker just nailed a 59-yarder. I didn't even know, college kickers could kick that far, but I don't know. I think kicking is just getting better overall. I've listened to like Pat McAfee talk about it where there's a lot of, like foreign kickers.
Yeah.
They were talking a lot about Irish kicker is going to probably make the Saints team. He's going to be the kicker for the Saints. So pretty cool there. And then we getting into the second half. We get tied up 21-21 into the fourth quarter, and Georgia Tech with a last-second field goal, 44-yarder, barely sneaks it in and upsets Florida State week 0. Not even, I was going to say week 1, but week 0. And we already have an upset, and after the Florida State fans were bitching that they should have been in the playoffs last year, and you open it up like this. So, wow, what do you guys think about Georgia Tech being the very first upset of the college football season?
I mean, way to kick it off, week 0, man. That's it's crazy start to the college football season, and it was a crazy game. I mean, Georgia Tech upsetting FSU is that was crazy to start with. I mean, at least FSU got their quality loss first game of the year, right?
Yep.
And I would add on to that too. Like you have legendary coach Nick Saban, has some high hopes. He commented on there that this is the team to watch. Georgia Tech's the team to watch this year. He has high hopes for them. We already have an upset, so that means, boys, it's gonna be a good college season. There's gonna be a lot of upsets. There's gonna be some shakeups. If there's already one happening this early, oh boy, I'm excited for this season. I think now that like Oregon is really, really good, and I'm like super invested in it. Like I used to. You guys know me. I was always invested in college football, but like now that like your team's actually doing it really well, you get more invested in it, and you get to learn a lot of the other teams and what's going on in their conferences. And this is just the start of it. So I can't wait to see what else this this season has. I know that like even getting into other games, New Mexico blew a 17-point league or 17 point. Um, they were ahead by 17 points. All right, can't speak.
There you
As always,
go.
English not very good. But it's just funny to see stuff like that happen. They blew a 17-point league and or lead, sorry, and so I'm excited. That's all I gotta
Hell yeah,
say.
dude. And I think did we all pick or I think one of us might have picked Wes, did you pick Clemson for the ACC champion? Or
No,
no, it was
I picked
Feist that
Miami.
picked my Oh, you picked Miami. Yep.
Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
picked Florida
Ooh,
State.
so Wes is already maybe a leg up. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
Nope,
our
they have
ACC
mixed.
winners are not looking good, but they were ranked 10, I think, and Utah's ranked 12. So
They were.
hopefully we can beat SUU this Thursday, which I will be in attendance for. I'm so freaking excited, dude. Utes are back this week, and then, like I said, full slate this Saturday, boys. We are back, so let's freaking go. And speaking of the Utes, they just created a Ring of Honor, and Alex Smith will be their very first inductee
Hold on, let's give
to
them
that.
one of these ones, boys.
Nice. We're on it. We got him dialed in this week. I like it. I'm glad you didn't shoot Alex Smith right there. So.
Yeah, we don't know after us because we don't talk about it.
But yeah, I think that's a great pick. I mean, obviously, he's number one pick. I think he's our only number one pick in the NFL draft. So yeah, love that for Alex Smith, and love that the University of Utah is making this.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a cool thing for them to do, especially for Alex Smith. I mean, he's probably the highest, in regards for the University of Utah to make the NFL. I feel like
Now,
I
what's
know they
his
have
name?
a
Steve Smith or what's his name? Or no?
Steve Smith, yeah, he's
Yeah,
another
he's
yeah.
also
great
super.
one.
Recently, Alex Smith is the biggest name. I mean, when you think of Steve Smith, do you think of Utah at all?
I do.
Of course.
To say I do.
He was at. I saw him at the Pat
Jalen
McAfee show
Johnson,
in Game Day last year. Jalen Johnson, he's
he's
popping
blown
off.
out.
He just got a new contract
So,
from the Bears, and
sorry, Wes, I'm just shitting on you right now, but I can name a lot of youth players.
No, I
Dalton
know, but I'm just saying,
Kincaid,
like,
Cole
okay, but look,
Bishop,
this is what I'm saying though.
the
Is like,
Buffalo
when you
Utes
think of
over there.
University of Utah football, you think of Alex Smith
Yeah, I mean, I
making
see
it
what
to
you
the
mean.
NFL.
Yeah, and being the
You
number
know,
one pick.
yeah,
I
and
think
that's
that's
what
a
I'm saying.
huge deal. Yeah.
And then like the corners. I mean, obviously Utah has a few corners that are in the NFL. They have a few of their secondary makes it to the NFL, but most of the time it's their defense, right? And
Yep.
Dalton
Yeah, I get it.
Kincaid's done. I made a good name for himself so far in the NFL, but you can throw Steve Smith in there. Alex Smith and them guys, they're in high regards for Utah. So
No,
Yeah.
no, for sure. I get what you're saying. I think you make a good point on that. I think Alex Smith was a great player for the Utes, and I think this is kind of shows just how much they appreciated his time there. And so I'm excited. I think this is a like a great thing for him and for Utes to celebrate Alex Smith, especially. I think he's still involved in the program, so I always
Oh
love
yeah.
that. So I love it when alumni come back and are just super involved in the program. So this, I'm happy for him for
I
sure.
can't remember what game it was, but he was at the game. I saw him. I kind of geeked out. He wasn't too far away
no,
from the student section.
it was the one I went with.
Oh,
You.
was it Florida? Was it the first
Was it
first
Florida
game?
the first game of the season, or was
Mm-hmm.
it when we went and watched Colorado before Deion Sanders got there?
That's when we saw Matt Asiata. I don't remember seeing Alex Smith on that game,
Oh,
but
that's true.
I saw
I think it was
Alex
Florida.
Smith not on the field. He was like in a suite to the left or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But yeah, and then Steve Smith, he's probably going to be the next one, I would say, into that Ring of Honor. So yeah, love the Smiths in Utah and love that. So I'm excited for that, and I think he's going to be inducted at halftime this Thursday. So
Nice.
excited to see
That'd be
that.
really cool. I mean, college football I love that they appreciate their alumni. They think that they always try to bring them back. They're super involved in the program, and so I love that. And I think moving on from that too. Let's talk about a college team that's kind of been in the, I guess, hot seat. Mike Gundy, or yeah, Mike Gundy, head coach of Oklahoma State, the Cowboys, had some comments on NIL deals.
There you go.
Nice.
Sorry,
There
I
you
don't
go.
know why I said H&I. Wow.
You kind of always do, and
I think I
I don't know.
did.
It's your thing. I don't know. We just let it happen.
That's what I'm talking about, boys. But anyway, so he said that negotiations for players to ask for more money that needs to stop. And a funny thing is I think there was another post actually on Bleacher Report, and it was saying that they actually put barcodes on their helmet
QR
for
codes, yeah.
QR codes, yeah, to if you have people donate. So it's like, what the heck is going on over there? I mean, NIL deals is or HNIL deals are kind of ruining college ball in my opinion. But at the same time, I love this stance. I think that for me personally, you guys know how much I hate NIL deals and how much I think that it's gonna probably turn into a just I'm doing it for the money, especially all the transfers they need. And so I love that he was like, nope, stop asking for more money. If you want to come play, earn a scholarship, and you want to and you already have a scholarship, you're getting your schooling paid for, you're earning a degree, and then it helps you get into that next level if that's your goal, let's do it. But it's just become to this point where players want 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. Like, you think of Caleb Williams, he was making like 3 million a year as a college player just on NIL deals. So
Yeah.
I love this stance. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's focused on, and his big deal is like in season. He's like, all
Yep.
right, once the season starts, let's focus on football. Okay, let's
Yep.
focus on actually what the sport we're playing. During recruiting season, during the off season, okay, like we can negotiate, but at least shut it down during football season so we can focus on it. And Oklahoma State, they got a promising season. I would view them as top, competitor, candidate,
Probably the
whatever
biggest
to,
rival.
yeah, beat Utah and win the Big 12. So like I love that. And then the QR code, that thing is so hilarious because I think I heard him talking about it too, and he basically it's for like people that are like out of the country or something,
Mm,
and it just kind of makes the donations a little easier, is what he was saying. But
yeah.
I've seen so many like funny things like memes and stuff on Twitter about that. Like, because I think that their running back, I may be wrong. I haven't fact checked this, but Ollie Gordon, he got I can't remember if it was a DUI or was something like that, and somebody was like, uh, all right, pay me money. I just scored you a touchdown. Pay me money so I can go get blacked out in the bar and drive or something like that. I was like, oh
Oh no.
no.
Oh no.
lots of Twitter memes. My algorithm is a wild place, but yeah, I think it's kind of funny. It's just I don't know, have a QR code like, hey, donate, give me money right here. It's kind of funny, a funny look.
Well, and that's the thing too, right? With Mike Gundy, I like his stance on once we're in season, let's not
Yeah.
talk about money. But I'm opposite of Feist, where I think the NIL deals, like I think the college players need to get paid. The NCAA makes so much money every year, and they make it off of the name and likeness of the players, the guys that are actually making them the money. So
Hmm.
I think it's a good thing to get paid. I just think it needs to be a different system because, like
Yeah.
Feist was saying, like it's a bad thing that they can, like this team is going to offer more exposure, brand deals, stuff like that. So you're going to have more transfers to that school. So like a Georgia, they're going to have a lot more exposure. They're going to have a lot more brand stuff than say BYU. So like a
Well,
lot of the better players are going to go to Georgia over these lesser schools because of that, because they could go make a lot of money. And I think that's the bad side of the NIL deals,
yeah.
because then you're
Hmm.
just going to have these dynasties that go on forever and not good dynasties, not like how Alabama has had their dynasty now for a long time. But that's just from them being a good team, not
Right.
from being able to pay players, $2-3 million a year.
Well,
Well,
that's why like Nick Saban retired too. He was just
yeah.
like, I'm sick of it being this way, and his wife too, Miss Terry, was a big part of the recruiting and stuff. And they both just was like, we used to like seek out culture. We used to seek out the players, like their mindset, their beliefs, their attitude, work ethic, this stuff. And now recruiting is just turned into, how much money can you pay me? And they didn't like it, and now they retired. And it kind of took him out of the league. I think that was a great way to put it, Wes. Like, they should get paid, but at the same time, like, it's kind of ruining like what made college football great. What Nick Saban did at Alabama, built that program into what it is, and with sustained success, without having to pay players, without having that, like, that money. And that's the thing, is like, you get all these smaller schools that have had, good programs or whatever, but they're not going to have the money to afford it. And I think it was actually Gundy too that was talking about, they just need to be employees. Like, we kind of, instead of just NIL, they just need to be employees, like, and act like the NFL, just sign contracts.
And that's
Hey, you're on a 2-year, $3.7 million deal to play with the Utah Utes or whatever.
And that's where I'm like frustrated, because like, you think about it, right? Like, I get it. It's a sport of, you're putting your life on the line, you're doing a lot of dangerous stuff, but you're also getting, that's my frustration, is you're getting paid by actually getting free schooling. There's so many other students that aren't actually getting their schooling paid for. So I agree, Wes. I think you guys are both, correct on, like, let's pay them. Let's, like you said, let's figure out a different system, because you can't, one, get paid for your free schooling, because those scholarships could be going elsewhere, and then you can also be expecting to get a salary, basically, because that's just the grind. You're supposed to be you're a college athlete, student athlete. You're a student and then you're an athlete. A lot of the times it's the other way. It's flipped, right? You're a athlete and then a student, and so it's just, I think, if to me it's the mindset. I think that if you're working hard enough, you're gonna make it to the NFL, and if you're talented enough, obviously you're gonna make it to the NFL. But like, why are you taking? If you're gonna get paid, then let's not give them scholarships. That's kind of my thing, because then you can afford to pay for your own schooling at that point. If you're getting paid 1 to 3, 4 million a year, you can definitely pay your own tuition, and then we can use that tuition to help out us students that actually need, because college is very expensive. I like, for example,
what the fuck? Now I hate Cam Rising, now that you brought that up, because he's making all this money. I had to pay for my school out of my pocket. What the fuck?
And
Give that money to me.
like, my tuition, I went from paying $6,400 a semester in person to $9,300. Like, I have to come up with that money. I don't have
Weber State.
Like, and obviously, shut up, dude. That's my master's. You guys paid that in your undergrad, I'm sure.
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding. Anyways, like,
all right,
this
smart
is
guy.
my hot button. I'm throwing shots at you. But it's just so frustrating, because I'm like, I want the college football to be exciting. I want people to have the opportunity.
Oh, fuck. He turned his hat backwards. We're getting serious now, boys. We're getting serious now. Sorry.
No, you're all good. And the thing is Oregon Ducks are guilty of this, right? Oregon has unlimited NIL deals. Like, Nike will give them anything, or whoever, and so it's just not fair for college. Like, these schools are actually trying to compete for these players. I love that Nick Saban, like you said, he's looking for culture. He's looking for players that are hungry. Like, players, these moments change lives, right? You've been struggling or whatever it was, and so to me, it's just so frustrating that, like, you want to get paid and you also want free schooling. That those two don't go together. You get free schooling, so then you can prove yourself. You're worth that, which you do on the field, and then you make it to that NFL and actually get paid really good money. But it's not fair to have both.
One more thing before we move on. I just think that the only way that you can curve all these the moving of players with the NIL deals, I think the only way that you can do it is slowing down the transfer portal. You can't making it so that way teams can't use the transfer portal as like a free agency market. You know what I mean? Bring back the penalty of, if you want to transfer schools, you have to sit a year. You know what I mean? I think that's the only way that you can curve it, to make sure that these dynasties don't happen because of money.
Yeah, and I think one more thing too, to like do, I think it was Chip Kelly was the first person that I saw like talk about this. We need to make football a separate thing from every other college sport. Because
Yeah,
then, and I
It
think
makes
Gundy
so much
also talked
money.
about this because like the majority of schools are football, like football pays for 90% of everything like that, or brings in 90% of the money to that college or whatever,
But
if
you
not
could say the
more.
same thing about basketball too.
But that's there's a few
football.
like Duke or
Yeah,
whatever, but even Duke, North Carolina, but now their football teams are like bigger and stuff like that. Like football's just such a big sport and everything, like it dominates
yeah,
everything really, especially in this time, both college and NFL, that football should just be its own separate thing. So like, because it does suck, like I think we talked about it before. I can't remember when, but like softball players that went to Cal because it was close to their family. Well, now they're in the ACC, so they have to go cross country and play Florida State or whatever, and
Yeah.
they don't have the money to fly their parents out, and stuff like that.
Well, I
So
mean,
this
some
all
programs,
realignment is kind of sucks for like those
yeah,
student athletes.
some of the sports programs too. I mean, they don't make, like you're saying, they don't make near enough money, and they don't subsidize what the football team makes
Yeah.
for those other sports, and so they have to travel to across country and have to fly in coach, and
Hmm.
and then they have to get really really cheap hotels and stuff like
yeah,
that, and that's
While
that's
going to
definitely a
school, like
problem.
your Feist was talking about,
Yeah.
all while going to school, and they actually, have to get their degree. A lot of these students, where these football players, a lot of them are just focused on making the NFL and stuff like
Mm.
that. And so it's hard. It's a hard life. I can't imagine, like look, college was hard enough for us, and imagine doing that while you were an athlete and having to go cross country and do all this stuff, not have any time for homework and stuff like that. So yeah, I think football should be definitely its own thing.
yeah. And like I said, last point on I'm gonna make on it too. I think you guys both hit really hard on that. I think it's just needs to have a different system. Somebody needs to come in and put in a system where all college players, whatever it is, and because these NIL deals are only going into the top, let's say top 10 players of a team. It's not necessarily to everybody. That's the hard part too. So why, what happens to the other 50 players that are on the team? So it's just it definitely, before we get carried away and we continue talking about it, at least I do. I'm gonna turn off this hot button and just say there's got to be a new system, and somebody needs to come in and create it. Hopefully, eventually, in this next year or 2 years, because it's just not fair for everybody. So, moving on from that, let's talk about some exciting news and get off Ice's hot buttons.
I was gonna say
Um,
this doesn't even seem exciting now. It's like after that, we should have organized it differently. But go ahead.
yeah, I got a little excited about what I was talking about,
Oh, that
but
was great. Yeah.
UConn wants to join in the Big 12. They're in early talks
You
of
want
trying
some
to
of
join
this?
in.
You want some of this, UConn? I don't know. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna like. There's not really a whole lot to say because I think that they're building up their program. UConn's very well known for basketball, and so their football, like you said earlier, football's kind of starting to build up on these programs. They're just Kansas, Duke, all those players were that those programs are well known for basketball. Now it's the footballs that are coming up, so this might be a good opportunity for them.
Yeah, it's probably. Are they in the ACC right now?
I think
No.
so.
I can't remember what they're in, but yeah, I welcome to the Big 12. They have had some good years here and there. I know Darius Butler of the Pat McAfee show. He was from UConn, and I think that he had like he in there when he was there. Their team was really good. Um, and I think he was a first round pick or second round pick or something. So like they've had some good years and probably down years as of late, but like you said, they're kind of building up. So yeah, welcome to the Big 12.
I think they're in
Uh,
the FBC Independent. What it
Oh,
looks
yeah.
like.
really?
Yeah. I was gonna say I know they're not in the ACC.
Oh, I did not know that.
Um,
What it's saying.
But yeah, so I mean, UConn, get ready to be at the bottom down there with BYU for the first few seasons here in the
Hey,
Big 12.
you might
So.
actually finish ahead of somebody in the Big 12
Hey,
standings.
there's other teams in the Big 12 that are ass. All right, it's not just BYU. Okay. Man, I just I could get into the whole culture aspect of BYU and everything, but and why they can't play good. But yeah, UConn, welcome to the Big 12. Welcome to be probably our number one rival after this, because we're only going to be able to compete at the bottom there. So other than Utah, I think other than Utah, I mean, that's the biggest rivalry I think in college besides Michigan and Ohio State. So
yeah, it's blood, dude. Oh, I'm so excited. I don't know. I've already talked about it. I'm so excited to see that game in person, dude. And then I like next year, hopefully, when I would hope we go to BYU, we should all go to that game, dude. That would be so freaking fun. So
yeah,
that'd be a scary world. But I was just gonna say that imagine having a rivalry start because you're fighting for the bottom.
Hey, that's how some of them start, man. Some of these rivalries start from the bottom.
Dude.
So.
Well, maybe get some NIL deals and you guys might be better.
No, the culture in BYU doesn't allow that. So
I'm back to
it. Anyways, boys, that's enough of the college talk. All right, let's get into some NFL news. Let's kick it off with a hot start. All right, Dallas Cowboys backup quarterback decides to throw 5 picks in a preseason game. That would be Trey Lance.
Hold on, I have one. I have one for him too, actually.
yeah.
Booty cheeks.
5. Why did you let him keep playing? Fucking what happened to Cooper Rush, man? Bring him back.
The Cowboys in there.
Cowboys in general. Oh wait, I know they were never good.
Ooh.
We were good before I was born.
Maybe you're the reason. Then you came in.
Wait, do I need one? Never mind. I'm not gonna do it. I almost did.
Not again. 5 picks though. 5 picks. I've only seen that. I remember Peyton Manning doing that in a game in his last year when they won the Super Bowl because their defense was so good. But yeah, I remember Peyton Manning. He got the all-time passing yards record, and he only had 17 yards in that game because he threw 4 or 5 picks, and he got benched the same game he broke the record. But that's the only thing. I don't know how can you make so many bad decisions like that and just I don't know keep letting him do it. I'll tell you what, the Niners are fucking lucky as hell that they got Brock Purdy after drafting Trey Lance number 3. Can you imagine what that could have done to their franchise if they had to roll with him,
Yeah, I mean, the 49ers dodged a bullet. I was pulling for Trey Lance. I think at the beginning of when we were talking about it, you guys remember how excited I was for him, but now I'm like, ooh, this guy's terrible. I mean, put me in, coach, at this point. What is going on with this organization? I'm still kind of confused on everything that's happening. It's it's almost like our quarterbacks just love throwing interceptions. I'm just getting used to it. I'm having a great time, actually.
Insert your favorite guy, Stephen A. Smith. How about them Cowboys?
I'm about to be playing all season long, baby.
Well, hey, we'll stop talking shit on the Cowboys for just a little bit. Deron Bland is out 6 to 8 weeks with a stress fracture in his foot.
You freaking liar! You said you were gonna stop talking shit on him.
I'm not talking shit. I'm just saying that you have a player out. I'm not talking shit.
He's just being a journalist. Feist. That's just what happened.
I'm just letting the people get informed that Deron Bland is out 6 to 8 weeks. All right.
Oh man,
that's tough. I know he was a big guy, especially after Diggs went down last year. He was your kind of number one corner. He broke the record, right? He broke the record for most pick sixes.
Yep.
I remember when Mac Jones threw him the easiest one of all time, and I remember how excited I was for that game. And I think you guys beat us 44-3 or something like that. But yeah, he was he was a dog. So 6 to 8 weeks, that's half the season right
Yeah.
there. So that's going to be tough.
Yeah, I mean,
And we all know Diggs is trash, so you basically don't have anybody in the secondary.
Guys, leave me alone. I'm struggling.
Hey, I didn't talk shit this time. Kyle did.
Oh my gosh, dude! Like I said, I just don't know what's going on. Now we have our second best corner out, 68 weeks. Like you said, that's half of the season, man. Like, what's going on? Like, just $10 billion right now does not seem like $10 billion is being, that organization is not worth $10 billion. Like,
and you let Gilmore go, so
he was trash. No, I hope that he has a speedy recovery. Hopefully, maybe it turns into like a 4 to 6 weeks. I know some of these athletes, like, they have some crazy healing abilities. So I don't know. Maybe it'll turn into 6 weeks instead of 68. Or
like Aaron Rodgers, ayahuasca. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
I'm hoping he'll go into a cave and smoke some, and then
darkness retreat.
Yeah,
some alternative healing.
Unfortunate, dude. Something is just not going right. But I mean, there's some good news. A little bit. Growing. There's some growing belief that CD Lamb might be coming back and might be part of our team in the first week. I think that I talked about this last week, where they are close, but they're not close. They're close, but they're not close. They're close, not close.
But
So
are they close?
But they're not close.
Oh,
So
but they are.
This has been like, no, they're not close.
Oh, I thought they were.
So is he getting traded to the Patriots or not, Feist? I need to know.
Nobody wants to go to the Patriots, Kyle. It's over for them. That dynasty is done. Okay, keep dreaming, buddy.
Hey, I've seen 6 Super Bowls in my lifetime. How many have you seen?
I've seen 6.
That was the perfect time for the crickets, bud. That was.
I'm very hopeful of this. I think that, like, why would you not want to pay your top wide receiver, your top guy? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I think they're getting closer. I think it's the money, as far as like how much he wants to get paid per year. I think he wants up to that 30, 32, 36, 34 million a year, which,
Yeah.
guys,
I think the only thing that the Cowboys can do is not like, hey, we're not going to pay you as much as Justin Jefferson. But also at the same time, if you say that to him, like, I think Justin Jefferson is better, but if you're CeeDee Lamb, you can
one
sit
or
there
two,
and make
right?
the argument, right, that, hey, I'm the best receiver in the league. I want more money.
Yeah.
And I think, at the same, like, here's my thing. It's similar to Brandon Ayuk, but even worse for, like, the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Pay Micah Parsons, pay CD. I know it might fuck up, like, your cap and stuff like that. It might be hard, but you need those players. That's the bottom line. Like, you need them. 2 very important positions.
Yep.
We can get into Dak. I know that's another hot button for you, but like CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons, they're, top, probably both like top 3 in their positions, I would say.
Right.
And they're young. Fucking lock them down. Like, how hard is it? So, and that's what we talked about, Jerry Jones and his spending, man. Like, the thing is, I don't know if you guys want to draft CeeDee Lamb tonight, fantasy football draft tonight, by the way, as we're going to have a new board like Wesley's got behind himself. And
the champion over here gets to keep the board and the trophy. And
we're all very sorry for that, folks. We're all very sorry. We somehow let this guy win.
Hey, you'll stay on top. You know what I mean? Just got to stay on top from worst to best.
But yeah, I don't know if you guys want to draft CeeDee Lamb. I'm going to use a little Feist tactic here. He hasn't been in camp, so I don't know. Maybe let him slip to the 8th pick or something like that. But no, it's going to be tough, though. Like, that's the thing. You might actually have like a slow first couple weeks. I don't know who you guys got on your schedule, but football, every game could matter when it comes down to it. And it kind of sucks that they haven't been able to get this done yet.
Yeah, I mean, with the CeeDee Lamb deal and stuff like that, it's just, I mean, how many years does he have left on his contract? Is this his last season? Or does he have 2 left?
2.
Because I think it's CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase. I think they both have 2 years left on their contract, and they're both looking for more money.
Yeah, extension. I think he can get the.
Who was it that was talking about that is kind of like annoyed of like players asking for negotiations with 2 years left?
Was that Madden, the guest guy on Pat McAfee show?
Madden.
Yeah. Or oh shit, I can't remember his name right now. But
Anyways,
yeah, he
or was it? I think it was Lombardi.
yeah,
I think it was
Lombardi.
Lombardi that was
Yeah,
talking about
not
that.
Madden.
Yeah,
What am I
and
thinking?
it's
Madden.
starting to just get like more, just harder for these teams to get these things figured out because they're still on their rookie deal, like you said, 2 years left, and now we got to renegotiate.
Yeah, and that's what and even Bill came on to the Pat McAfee show. If you guys can't tell, we watch a lot of the Pat McAfee show, but
big fans. Let's do a collab, Pat. If you ever see this, yes, sir.
But no, so yeah, I think because even Bill was on the Pat McAfee show and he was talking about how they handled contract
Oh,
negotiations.
it says
and
he
stuff
is
like
on the
that.
final. Sorry to interrupt. It says he's on the final year of his rookie contract.
Oh, gotcha. So he's only probably making like $6 million or something like that at most this year. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how it goes, right? Like they're looking for their new contract right before, and I think that's why the Steelers didn't take their 5th round options with Justin Fields and Najee Harris, is because they're just going to have to play I have to give you a new contract anyway because it's your final year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And so,
but those level of players not on the same level.
I'm not saying they fucking are, you asshole.
I just can't wait for that segment. If you guys can't tell, my team sucks ass, and my season this year is just going to be shitting on your guys' teams. That's what's going to make me happy about football this year. Sorry, I keep interrupting.
Keep cutting me off, man. It's
so unlike me. I never do that.
Podcast. It's just like the Redneck Boys, all right? It's just like the Redneck Boys.
Sorry, I don't know what got into me today.
But yeah, no, I think just because like Jamar Chase, for example, he's asking for a new contract 2 years before his contract's up.
Yeah.
And he's still on his rookie deal too, but he's seeing all these big name wide receivers get these big contracts, and he's like, oh, well, I'm only making $6 million this year, and I'm a top 5 wide receiver in the league. Like, and then, and CeeDee Lamb's looking for something probably right underneath Justin Jefferson, and it's sometimes. And then, like I was saying though, with Bill, they would do contract negotiations with, like, he even brought up Judon and how they restructured his contract for his because Judon asked for a contract 2 years before his ended, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then what they did was they took all the money from his last year of his contract and put it into the next year. And
that's why he's like making no money this year.
Right. And that's just to make him happy, because Bill doesn't want to, and this is how Bill played it. He didn't want to deal with the players asking for contracts 2 years before their contracts are up. And that's how he played it when he would go through the contract negotiations.
Greatest GM of all time.
But I also think a lot of people are going, or a lot of teams are going to that type of restructure contracts a couple years before.
Give it in their signing bonus. There's all these, like Pat McAfee talks about it, the salary cap gymnastics, I think is his term. Doing all this stuff. Like, I think he even talked about it like, oh wow, Tom Brady's so cool. He's restructured his deal, so he's helping out the team. But basically, they're just, instead of giving him his money throughout the contract, it's like, all right, here's $17 million today, boom, on the signing bonus or whatever. But it takes it off the cap or whatever. Yeah. So.
And I think it's also, like, to add on to what you guys both said, it's this whole idea of resetting the market. I feel like everybody wants to reset the market, and so that makes it a little bit harder to, like, try to compete with these teams, to these players to get paid. So I like I said, CeeDee Lamb's definitely worth it. I think he's the second best wide receiver right after JJ. Like, it's just, you gotta pay your guys. And Micah, he's still young, like you said, you gotta pay your guys. Take all the money from Dak's contracts and just put it towards Micah and CeeDee Lamb, and we'll be chilling.
Yeah, well, speaking about one of those high paid guys resetting the market, we've already talked about Tua in length and everything. My opinions on it, but I wanted to talk about him because he came out on a podcast and just shit on Brian Flores. More than like you could ever do. He ripped him, and if you guys don't remember, that whole situation was just so weird. Yeah. So basically, Brian Flores never really liked Tua. He was basically like our buddy Julio. He just hated Tua, said Tua sucked, and like to his face, I guess. So that's what Tua was saying, is that Brian Flores never believed in him and constantly told him, like, you suck, you don't belong here, you don't belong in this profession, you don't belong as a starter, and stuff like that, and really hurt his confidence. I don't know if you guys remember the weird ass shit that he did, but he would like play Tua for like 3 quarters. He'd start him, and
Yep.
then fourth quarter, if it's close, put in Ryan Fitzpatrick, which makes like no sense. Like I remember the Utes kind of did the same thing last year with Cam Rising injured, where we were playing Bryson Barnes for a couple series, and then we're playing Nate Johnson, and then we're playing Bryson Barnes, and then and nobody can get a rhythm. Like, and I never seen that in the NFL where they were doing that. But basically, Brian Flores like really didn't believe in him, but had to play him because I think they took him with like the 5th pick or something like that.
Yeah.
And then on the flip side, Mike McDaniel, I think we've all seen the switch. As soon as Mike McDaniel got there, that offense, Tua, that's when they really took off. And Tyreek Hill, that also helps. And drafting Jalen Waddle. But like Mike McDaniel has had full belief in him and has been spending, Tua's like, he spent the last 2 seasons trying to like coach out, hey, you don't suck at football. You're good. We believe in you. And it took that much for Tua to really believe in that. So yeah, I think that's just kind of a wild story for that to come out against Brian Flores. What do you guys think?
And I was gonna say, actually, the interesting thing is, remember how we were always saying he was playing scared? Like it was almost
Yeah.
like,
Oh yeah.
remember we said that a lot. He was playing scared. He just felt like he just didn't have the confidence, and then the injuries with the concussions were starting to happen, and we're like, okay, this guy might be done. He might be an early 2 3 years and gone.
Right.
And I remember us having those conversations when we'd come watch Sunday football together. It's like, what's going on with Tua? And I've always been a big fan of Tua. Like, you guys know that Tua and Tyreek were always my combo to try to get. And so it's interesting to me that a coach saying that to their franchise quarterback, their leader of their offense, like how much that affects a player. Like, confidence is a big thing. You're playing in the NFL, it's a dangerous game, like I said. But I just remember we would always say, something's wrong with Tua, something's not right with
Yeah.
Tua.
I
And now it's just interesting
Well,
to see that now he has the confidence and everything, and he's playing like
hell
really
yeah.
well. So
Hell yeah.
well, and I remember too when Brian Flores got fired from Miami. I was one of the guys that said that I would love to have Brian Flores on my team. I'd love to have him as a head coach, and we did have him for a little bit
He
as a
wasn't
linebackers coach.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
was going to ask.
yeah, we did have him for a little bit, and then he went to, where's he at now?
He's in Minnesota. He's their defensive
Minnesota.
coordinator.
He's their defensive coordinator. Yeah. And I never thought that Brian Flores was the problem. And I remember when Miami dropped him, I was like, what is Miami doing? I mean,
I thought the same thing.
Obviously, because put this aside, I mean, he grew the Miami Dolphins into a better football team. I mean, he got them, close to 500, if not above 500, the few seasons he was there. And so he grew the football team to be better.
Well, and he was the defensive coordinator for New England before that. It wasn't an official title, but he was the defensive coordinator when we won like the 2018 Super Bowl against the Rams, when we had that like bomb ass defense.
Yeah.
And I've always been a fan of Brian Flores. And I think I just don't think like it just didn't connect with the two of them. He's a defensive minded guy. Tua's obviously on offense. I know that Brian Flores, he responded. So he was just like, that it hurt him as a person. He's like, yeah, it's negative. This sucks. But he did say like, I'm going to use it to like, hey, maybe I can get better. How can I grow from this? How can I communicate better with my players? Obviously I didn't communicate well. So I like that from Flores. I think it's just one of those things. They're both good. Tua's good. Brian Flores is good. Together just didn't work.
Yeah, and I mean that's kind of how, and I think that's kind of how it went. Like, obviously you don't know the behind the scenes of what's going on, and the ownership in Miami said, I'm going to take my franchise quarterback and fire the head coach, and that was the decision that they made. And obviously none of us knew what the inner workings of what the problems were in Miami. Because none of us really thought there was one, other than Tua, getting his concussions and stuff like that, and that's what we thought the problem was with Tua. So yeah, I mean, it's just, and I love the way that Brian Flores came back and said, I need to improve. I need to be able to give confidence to my players, not
Yep.
drag them through the mud.
Yep.
I like how he said that I need to get better.
Yeah.
And like to add on to that, like to finish it off too, I think that it's interesting because we were all asking if Tua was worth the money that he got just recently. And like you said, Brian, sometimes it's picking the franchise quarterback over your coach and hitting that reset button, and that's what they did, and it's turned out really well for them. So I'm happy for Tua. I think that like this was a growing opportunity for both of them, not just Brian. But hopefully in the long run, Miami does end up getting their money's worth from Tua. So
Hopefully they don't. They're in the AFCs. Fuck the Dolphins. Okay, we're going to take a short break here, and then we'll get into some more NFL news. So we'll catch you guys on the other side. And welcome back from that break. I know everybody was super excited for it, so thanks, boys. So let's talk about everybody's favorite player, obviously, Matthew Judon, because we haven't talked about him enough. So we talked about how he got traded and he didn't have that deal in place. He's planning on playing the season without restructuring, getting a new deal or anything. He says, I want to work for it. I got to earn it.
Yep.
And I kind of love that, because he's in that position, right? Where he's older, he's coming off an injury, and he's like, hey, I got to do it. And that kind of shows a little bit of where the Patriots were, because I've heard, he would have played for the Patriots on the same deal. But the Patriots are ready to move on. They're in a, rebuilding phase, younger talent, that kind of thing. So I like this from Judon. I like that mindset.
Yeah, but I mean, as a Patriots fan, do you wish he did that on his contract with the Patriots?
I do, but at the same time, I get it. I think, I love the player, personally, but for the team, it makes sense, to move on.
But I mean, I get that it makes sense to move on, but I know that you loved him there in New England, and so it's just like, can he? No, because he's coming off of injury, so it's a prove it year anyway, right?
Yeah.
And so he could have looked at the Patriots contract as the same way as I'm coming off an injury. I understand that I've been playing good for you guys for 3 years, and then come to the injury, and now I think I need to come back and work for it, type of thing.
No, okay, he's gone. It's done. Okay, God.
But no, I think
I get what you're saying.
Yeah. But I think that the Falcons, it's a different way of how a player would go about a contract. You know what I mean? Because a lot of these guys in the NFL are just looking for their money, right? And so that's just and to have him come to the Falcons and say, I'm not looking for a new deal because I'm on a new team. I have to prove it to you guys that I'm still good. Because he's 32 now.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
So I was just gonna say, it makes that trade kind of pointless. Why didn't you just stay? At that point, could have just
that. I think it was the Patriots' decision.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, work something out to where you could have just stayed, because you'll get into it a little bit here, but it just, yeah, I think I was frustrated just as a football fan, because I like Judon as well, and I think I see how excited you always are about him, and so it's good for him to say this is a proven year for me, but at the same time, come on, man, work something out if that's where you want to be. So
yeah, he's definitely an interesting player. He's so open about things. He posts and talks about it all the time. Where I feel like there's this understood you don't talk about contracts on social media or kind of thing, and he just talks about it. And one thing he said is that he's open to a Patriots return.
Yeah,
he's like, Brady retired a Patriot, so why can't I? And I'm like, yeah, would love it. if
You'd
he can
still
be
take
kind of
him?
like that veteran presence, like we talked about, like Patty Mills to the Jazz last week, right? Like
Yeah.
maybe that's what he could be. I love Judon. I think he's, when healthy, at top 5 pass rusher. I really do. But it makes sense. And, hopefully he does well for Atlanta. I'm rooting for him and everything. And if he wanted to come back and be a Patriot, we could work that out. That would be great.
You would still
Um,
take him, right? You said?
What do you mean?
Even with all the drama that's happened and all that, you would still take him back to be
Well,
a Patriot?
especially if he's saying this, yeah, like, if he's saying I would come back, I would. I think that the thing is, and that's why Bill restructured his deal, and the way Bill does things so many times is where he would do things like that, where he's like, all right, we're going to take your salary from 2024 and put it into 2023,
Hmm.
and we'll kick the can down the road. We'll figure it out later. And then a lot of times when that doesn't get figured out, these players, they go somewhere else. Like I could name off a bunch. Kyle Van Noy, although he's actually had some success like in Baltimore and LA and stuff, but like Danny Amendola, Chris Hogan, there's all these guys that get their, look really good on the Patriots, and then the Patriots aren't paying them that deal that they're worth, right? And then
Yeah.
they get a deal from somebody else and they're trash,
Yeah.
because it was that system or whatever. So, and I don't think Judon's that guy. So I think he's still going to have success, and hopefully he's the sack leader this year, because I bet he will be.
That's funny, bud. That's funny.
Well, that would be
Want to make
awesome.
another bet?
I'll make a bet with you.
I won't. Never
That
mind.
Exactly.
Cut it out.
Exactly. Yeah.
That will be
I was
Miles
gonna say,
Garrett.
shake on it right now. Shake on it right now. You want to bet?
Oh, sorry.
Well, hey, moving on from the Judon talk, because we all know that we've talked about him a lot.
I can't recall.
It's almost like we have a Patriots fan on the podcast.
Yeah, we're kind of sick of him, so let's.
Thank you for cheering.
Hey, I wish I
6-time champion.
I wish I had one too. Because you're not the only organization that has one.
Yeah, at least I saw him. Well, I wasn't 30 years.
Hey, I watched one.
anyways.
I watched that one too, actually. Cowboys weren't in it, but
yeah,
black and yellow.
Yeah. Okay, so anyways, a rookie quarterback that I liked, especially right out of the draft.
Feist hates this guy, though.
He hates this
Can
guy.
you tell? Play whatever sound you want, Feist. Just go off. Just go ahead.
Oh, no, I want him to announce it so I can.
Okay.
All right.
Ready?
Everybody
reset.
This guy has been really good so far in the preseason. Sean Payton loves him. I love him. Name Bo Nix. He's
starting QB, baby!
Bo Nix is QB1.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
But no, I like Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix is going to reset that franchise, definitely, especially when they have to pay $35 million the next couple of seasons to Russell Wilson. But I think he's a good fit in Sean Payton's system. He's Sean Payton's offense, kind of, especially when he had Drew Brees, was fast paced, fast decision, and Drew Brees fit that system perfectly. And we all watched.
I was going to say,
for a long time.
wasn't one of Bo Nix's pro comps Drew Brees?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And Sean Payton seen him in workouts and stuff like that before the draft and said, this is my guy. This is the guy that is going to fit my system perfectly. Basically a Drew Brees 2.0. And he ran a lot of the same system in Oregon that Sean Payton has for his offense. And so it's just a perfect scheme
that
fit.
System. So fucking annoying. So annoying. It was so good. That's why it was annoying. It was so freaking good. And a lot of people, I think that's what like a dig on Nix is like, oh, it was system, because a lot of people look at his Auburn days and say they were so terrible and this and that and the other. But damn, like, I think that was pretty surprising. I thought Stidham was going to be quarterback one, at least to start the season, first few weeks.
Yeah.
And then I thought Zach Wilson was going to take over and lead that franchise to a division title. But
Ah,
He's
ah,
just kidding, just kidding.
division title to you.
But that's awesome. It's awesome for Bo Nix. So let me get my stuff out there, and then
Let me go off, baby. This is so exciting. I already knew. I think I said it before. Like Bo Nix has the comparisons of Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. He's very like agile. He's able to move out of the pocket, stay in the pocket. This is great for. I knew that he was going to be the starting quarterback, not just because he played for the Ducks, but he just has that ability to read the game so well, make quick decisions. I think the big thing was is like he kind of didn't have the deep threat that like most quarterbacks should have. But then he proved that his combine and his private workouts. It was actually kind of funny because it was saying the Broncos were the only teams at his combine. There was some like
really
I
his
don't think
pro
it was
day or whatever. Is that what you mean?
huh
His
At
pro
the pro
day.
day.
Pro Day. Yeah, sorry. So Broncos were the only team there, and as soon as they saw what they saw, they were like, "Nope, this is our guy." And so I love Bo Nix. I think he's super smart. Like Oregon just somehow like creates these players that are able to read the game super fast. They're able to stay in the pocket and also get out of the pocket, like I said. And so this is just exciting. It's kind of sad news too because I was hoping him and Troy Franklin were gonna connect really well. I was like, dude, that is amazing that you're able to pick your quarterback, franchise quarterback, and you're able to get him his receiver from college days. What connection can that be more? And so I loved it, but now to hear that Troy Franklin's not doing too well, I think
Who's
he's
Troy
the
Franklin?
wide receiver. He was the number one wide receiver at Oregon. I think he has the
Did he
most.
get drafted to the Broncos too,
Yeah,
or
yeah, he did. I
okay?
think he
But
was
he's
like a
not doing
late.
well in camp, is what you're saying?
Yeah, he's not doing too well. He's like
Is he going to make
probably
the team,
yeah,
or
I think he makes the team because he was still a good pick. But I think one of my buddies was saying that the seventh round pick that they got is outperforming him, and I think he was a fourth round pick. I think I don't remember. I'll have to double check on that fact, but it's just exciting, man. I'm excited for Broncos. I'm not a big Broncos fan. My little brother's a Broncos fan. I know your brother's a Broncos fan, Kyle. But it's just exciting to see that they got their quarterback and they're gonna be going with it. And um, I'm just like, it's the same system in Oregon, and now he's just gonna thrive and get better. And oh boy, another Oregon player playing really
I
well in
was
the
going to
NFL.
say I know it's early, but do you think Bo Nix has the chance to like be better than Herbert? Now, not now. Herbert's been in the league for how many years now? Obviously,
Yeah,
obviously. Who do you like? You got a couple of Oregon quarterbacks in that division.
yeah,
Who do you
that's a
think
good question.
has more success?
I think that you given a couple more years for Bo to develop. I think if not as good, he'll be better than Herbert. And I think that's
Really?
just because I think
Wow.
Herbert was a good quarterback. It's a great quarterback, but I think Bo Nix is able to read the game a little bit differently and quicker. And so, yeah, that one's a toss up for me. I think just
Bold
giving a couple
predictions.
more years to him, like two or
Whew.
3 years, I think that Bo is going to probably be better. And hopefully he doesn't
Wow.
make me eat my words. But
They
I
both
think they'll
have
be good, but
they both have
Herbert's a
legendary
dog.
coaches now
yeah,
too. So
great
I don't know,
development.
man. I don't know
I think
because I think
Herbert's been in that. To your point, Wes. I think he's been in a shit system for so long,
Yeah.
but he's still been balling out.
But I
yeah.
think with Herbert though is because of he had the weapons, right? Like you have two great receivers. One can't stay healthy, obviously, but like you still had a Keenan Allen, but it was the old line that was trash. The guy couldn't like. How do you? We've always said this: build that wall, right? We want a quarterback protected, and if you can't keep a quarterback protected, he's just going to keep getting injured. He was dealing with the thumb injury for a while last season. Now he's got an ankle injury. So like can he stay healthy is the question with Herbert. With Bo Nix, they've taken care of that old line because their old line was trash. I
Well,
think
so
that
did the Chargers, right? That's what they took Joe Alt with their fifth
Yeah.
pick.
yeah,
I
so
think they're both
New
building
culture.
their both of them are building their running games before the passing game.
yeah,
But you know what? Even though those teams are, trying to build their culture, trying to get better, it still doesn't matter. I'm sorry. Chiefs are still the Chiefs. And I wanted to call back because I saw more on this play after we talked about the behind back pass.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I feel like it's not even getting as much hype, but Travis Kelce was talking about it in an interview, and he said, so he ran the wrong route. I think we may have talked about that last week, but
Yeah.
he ran the wrong route. And the reason why is because he couldn't understand Patrick Mahomes' voice, and Patrick Mahomes is running the play, and he said, "All right, yeah, man," and Travis didn't know what the hell was happening.
Hold on, Kyle. That was a great performance. Hold on.
And so it was totally improvised. It was just off the fly, and I think that just makes my point even worse that they're just going to be so fucking good, and it pisses me the hell off. And they could be the first team to three-peat. And yeah, Pat Mahomes, he talked about it. He's like, I was just pissed off. That's why I threw it behind my back. I'm not planning on doing this all the time, but I just was like, God damn it, Travis. And he motherfucker, dude, we're so screwed. We're so screwed. They're still gonna be the fucking Chiefs, man. I don't understand.
See, and I don't know. The thing is, though, is like he did that in preseason. I understand, like that's insane, especially because preseason is still NFL talent. Yeah, I don't know if they'll ever make that play in the season.
But the thing, it looked so clean. Like I think that was what got people so talking. It looked like a designed, play.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of one of those. They do a lot of those little
trick plays.
What you call them, not like bubble screens, but like where you just kind of, like I know Pat's done those shovel passes.
It's just like a shovel pass. Yeah.
Yeah. And getting those, opens up those lanes and stuff. So that's what it kind of looked like. And then being able to throw it behind your back, I mean, that's just going to confuse defenses even more. So
there's more weapon that guy has that he doesn't need. That's all I got to say to that.
Number one player in the NFL, man. I'll stand on that hot button again. That's he's the best player in the league, man. He's
no, that's Tyreek Hill.
No.
And then Myles Garrett after that. Wait, Wesley.
We should just like start making hot button segment. We're just gonna sit here and just hit everybody's hot.
I mean,
button.
that could go on for a long time, there, buddy.
Make an episode. We'll just have a hot button episode. There you go.
While Wesley talks about Myles Garrett, I talk about the Cowboys' booty cheeks, and then why they're booty cheeks, not their booty cheeks. Last week it was guns. Today it's booty cheeks, baby. Bada boom, bada beam. I'm on something, baby. Let me get my thumb on it.
No, I don't think that was the right. I think you should have played the Crows or the Crickets or something in that moment.
Well, hey boys. We've got some more contract stuff getting finished up. We got Creed Humphrey becoming the highest paid center in the NFL with a 4-year, $72 million contract extension from the Chiefs that includes $50 million in guaranteed money. I think that this is obviously...
So they got better.
Yeah. Obviously this is a huge signing for them, anchor of their offensive line. Plus the fact that, being able to protect Patrick Mahomes and, all that stuff with it. Creed Humphrey probably is the best center in the NFL now. I was going to say,
with Kelce retiring, I want to say that he's the best center in the league. He might have been better than Kelce because he's younger, but I think definitely now he's the best center in the league, I would say.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing too, right? I mean, I was going to say Patrick Mahomes is taking the same path as Tom Brady did, right? With, like you were saying earlier, Tom Brady still got his money from the Patriots, but and Patrick Mahomes is too, but they're taking smaller deals than what they're worth. Like Tom Brady could have been the highest paid quarterback every year.
Yep.
Patrick Mahomes can be the highest paid quarterback every year.
Can you imagine like Dak's talking about like $60 million? Like Pat could legit ask for $70 million a year.
Oh yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like he's that good for sure.
But they want to, but I think Pat has the same exact mindset. He's the same exact hard worker as Tom Brady was. And I think
that's why they have fucked boys. I've seen it happen.
I think that they have the same mindset where they're going to take a little less money and build a
franchise, build a dynasty.
Dynasty. That's what I was looking for. They're going to build a dynasty around Patrick Mahomes, and it's going to be a long time until they're not good again.
Well, look at this. Before you jump in, Vice, I would just want they have the best quarterback, the best tight end, the best center, the best, and maybe even defensive tackle in Chris Jones. They just, you could say, the best coach now. They got a lot of bests at very important positions, and they're able to fill out the rest of the team. And like you said, like last year was the year that they were supposed to be terrible.
Yeah.
And they win the Super Bowl, and now they're just getting better, 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 better. So
Yeah, I mean, I love the unselfishness from these type of players. I love that mentality where it's team first, everything else comes second. And how do you become great? Sometimes championships are what people look at when you're becoming great. Like we talked about this with the other sport, NBA, right? Like we see Michael Jordan with the 6 rings, and like that's all a lot of people talk about. He has 6 rings, and blah blah
so
blah.
he's the GOAT, right?
Nah,
Who's the GOAT?
LeBron James, baby.
There we go.
Eddie
I just
Braun.
wanted to make sure we got it in on an
Oh
episode.
my
We
God,
have to
dude.
have his name at least in every episode. So
I
there
gotta
you go.
always. I mean, it's just like that's what I'm talking about. Like that mentality of like I want to win chips. I want to do it for the team. I don't care about what I got to get paid because at the end of the day, he's still making really good money. In his franchise like deals and stuff, or I mean his NIL or not NIL, but his advertisements and all those other side stuff. So I don't think he cares about it too much. But I'm all for a guy that's like, I want to win chips. I want to get my team better, and I want people around me to be better. So I'll take less money and I'll go. So
Yeah,
good for
I
them.
may be the only Patriots fan that likes Patrick Mahomes. And because a lot of people hate him, but honestly, like dude's just a talent, and like you said, hard worker, and a guy that cares about the team, and that's very rare. Like all these quarterbacks, and I'm not trying to like shit on everybody, but just like I feel like he's doing it so much better than everybody else, and that's why the I get to talk about the 6 championships is because Tom Brady bought into the system, and like they talk about it all the time, he was able to be coached hard. So
Yeah.
when you see Tom Brady getting his ass chewed, you better fucking step up your shit. And
Yeah.
a lot of these things, kind of throwing it back to the NIL stuff we were talking about with college football, a lot of these things are going to start to, I feel like the culture is going to change. It's all
Yeah.
about me, make my money, make my
Yep.
money. And that's what's going to
Exactly.
make it even easier for the Chiefs, is that they're one of the few teams that have a really, really good culture in place. And as long as you have those, like I said, they got Mahomes, they got Kelsey, they got Reed, Chris Jones, Humphrey. You can almost fill in the other spots, and it doesn't even matter.
For sure. Yeah. No, it's gonna be interesting to see what they end up doing with the team that's improved by a lot this year. So moving on to that with keeping the signing training going on with contracts. So the Falcons paid AJ Terrell for a year, $81 million with 65.8 million guaranteed. So Falcons are just making moves, man. You
Jesus.
guys were right last week when you
For
said
a
they might
corner?
be all in. So are they all in?
I think they're all in. I think that they're going for it, especially on that defensive side. Now, still don't get why they picked Penix. I mean, you probably could have picked him in the second round, third round. Like, I feel like he might have slipped. It was such
Yeah.
a weird pick. And, there were so many players. There's edge rushers that you could have picked. There's tackles you could have picked, wide receivers, all positions that they could have used. But that defense might be scary with Simmons, Terrell in the secondary. You got Judon on the line. Like they're definitely going for it. And I'll have to bring it up to Hunter at our fantasy draft tonight. $100, man. I'm booking it. They're gonna win that division.
He said, I'm booking
I'm booking
it.
it.
But no $100 on the sack leader.
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
And then Wes
Not
wants
that
to
one.
take that $100
Because TJ Watt becomes the sack leader in only 10 games. So
Yeah, but does he win the defensive player of the year? Probably
Nope.
not.
well,
So.
probably should. But no, I think the Falcons are doing. I mean, they're pulling the same play as the Rams. I mean, the Rams did it And then now everybody else in the NFL is going to start copying them. And it's what I don't like about it is, as much as I hated the Patriots dynasty,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's going to ruin dynasties now. And the only other team that's going to be a dynasty in this future is the Chiefs, because they have a player that played like Tom Brady and takes less money, so that way everybody else can get paid. But no, I definitely think that the Falcons are going to be good this year. I think that they only have 1 to 2 years of this, kind of run for a Super Bowl type thing, because they are pulling the same thing the Rams did and signing a bunch of older veteran players, and so it's just gonna. I think that's as far as they're gonna go with their run. But I definitely think they're all in for a Super Bowl.
I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see what ends up happening then, because, like you said, they're all in. But it's I never understand when division rivals trade players to your other opponents in your division. So let's talk about this a little bit. The Washington Commanders trade John Dodson, or yeah, wide receiver John Dodson, in a rare, like I said, in division, and they traded him to the Philadelphia Eagles, which I'm like, anyway, let me finish real quick. What actual trade was?
You can't even finish the headline before your hot button starts going off.
They traded him to the Philadelphia Eagles for a 2025 third round pick and 2 seventh round picks. Like, why would you give that offense that's already talented, that they somehow got Barkley from the Giants? Now the Commanders are helping them. It's almost like it's the Eagles should take this division.
$100 on the Cowboys Eagles division.
Oh, I'll take that.
No, wait, hold on. Let me think about it first.
I'll take that. I still think
about
that.
it. Let me think about it.
I still think that even the Eagles having this many weapons on the offense, I think they end up finding a way. They're just as bad as the Cowboys on choking, right? Like, they always show out really well.
No.
Second best. Okay, sorry.
Okay.
You're right.
Cowboys are all time. All right.
You're right.
They're all time.
All right. I thought I could sneak one in there, but
No. Like I said, my season is shitting on your teams, especially the Cowboys. We all know how much I hate the Cowboys, so
it just doesn't make sense to me
Can't wait
that
for
you're
them to
giving
choke
a
again.
weapon like this to your division opponent. Like I said, everybody's just freaking giving everybody, the Eagles, everybody that they can have, all the weapons that they can have. Like, so you could have gave them away to anybody else, but you want it in the in division. It never makes sense to me. I would never, as a GM, as an owner, whatever, I would never trade a player to a division rival. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. I was talking to our good buddy Sime about this, and he was super excited. I honestly, I didn't even think about like adding this in. When I saw that, I was like, oh, Jahan Dotson, like we don't even need to talk about it. But he was super excited. He sent me the link and stuff. I was like, do you like it? And I was like, so what does that make him? Like he's automatically year 3. And I
Yeah,
don't know if you guys know, but is he a slot guy?
I think
Is Dotson kind of a
it was
slot
his
guy?
rookie season last year, right?
I don't remember. I
I
don't
think
know
he
the
was a
player. I
rookie
don't know
last
them.
year. I think
I
he
don't
was
watch
a
the
rookie
Commanders
last
very
year.
much, so.
Yeah, I paid
Okay.
attention a little bit to him, but I think he was a rookie last year, and he was the number 2 after Scary Terry.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah. That talk about hot button.
He wasn't
Don't
scary
draft.
last year.
I'll tell everybody this. Don't draft Terry McLaurin. Just don't. Just fucking don't. That pissed me off so much last year. The fucking king of scoring 0 to 0.9 points every fucking week.
Well, and the offensive line doesn't block for the quarterback. It's hard to get the ball to Terry McLaurin. So
sure is. But they got Jaden Daniels now. So yeah, actually, Feist, you should take him in the first round, just so you know. But no, Simon was super excited about this. Like he was raving about this, and I think it's good for them. My only question about the Eagles, and this is why I hesitated and pulled my hand away. Who did they have on defense? That's my thing. Is their offense looks good, but they lost Fletcher Cox. I know he retired. And then they lost a couple of guys in free agency. And I asked Simon that, and Hassan Reddick. I asked Simon, he's the Georgia Tech defensive lineman. Jordan Davis, and then they drafted another guy. He's like, we're relying heavily on them, and then they have one good linebacker and one good guy in the secondary. Is what Simon said, and I'm like, yeah, that's going to be their Achilles heel. Like there's literally no holes on their offense. They still got a good offensive line.
Yeah.
They got Jordan Mailata. They got Lane Johnson.
Hey,
I know Kelsey's a big loss, but their offensive line's still going to be good.
They drafted that corner from Iowa, right?
Oh yeah, Cooper G.
Yeah.
White boys in the secondary.
Yeah, don't they have two of them? They have their
yeah, I
free
heard about
safety's
another guy.
Their free safety's a white boy too.
I actually never knew that was a thing, to be honest with you guys.
But they're not even the safety though, because there's been white safeties, but cornerback, there hasn't been a white cornerback that started an NFL game since 2003 or 2004 or something like that.
Did not know that was a thing. But the Eagles.
Well, hey, let's get into some of the best news that we're going to talk about this whole podcast.
Wait, no.
Not for you.
No.
It's still Steelers news, all right? It's still Steelers news. And it might not be the best, but I honestly kind of like it. Other than somebody had to get injured for it to happen. But
wow, you just want people to get injured, huh? That's what you like. Wow, this guy.
Center Nate Herbig is out for the season with a shoulder injury, which means that our first-round pick in 2024 from West Virginia, Nate Frazier, will get the start for the season.
Nate's out and Nate's in?
Yep.
Oh. You're excited about this. That was he was drafted 24th or something? What pick? Yeah. Something like that you guys had?
I can't remember the exact pick, but yeah, he was the first-round draft pick for the Steelers this last season. I'm excited for it. I think he's a really good piece to the offensive line, especially that's been struggling through the preseason. It's supposed to be improved offensive line, but they've been struggling a lot. They've had a couple of injuries where one I think our starting left tackle went down in the offseason, and then obviously now Nate Herbig. But I like Nate Frazier a lot. He's a dog, man. He just goes out and works. That's all he does. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I love the piece. And he's really been the bright spot in the Steelers offensive line this preseason. So
can I ask something? Is because I know the center is a very important position. You got to have high IQ to play that. So my stance on Drake May, sitting a season. Are you not worried about that? Are you not worried about him, learning under? If Herbig were to have been healthy and stuff, are you worried about him getting thrown in, or do you think it doesn't really matter as much at the center position?
Well, no, and I think it still matters. It matters at every position that you have that, veteran talent to teach the younger rookie or whatever. I think it still matters. And I definitely think that Zach Frazier has a lot to work with or work on to become Nate Frazier. Sorry. Yeah. I think he still has a lot of stuff that he needs to work on. I still think that he needs to figure out the calls, because the center calls the audibles for the offensive line's protection plan along with the quarterback, because they're also looking at the defense like a quarterback would. Right. And so, I mean, that's why whenever you see an offensive lineman run up to the line, they call out the Mike linebacker. They know. They study enough film to know blitz packages and stuff like that the defense might throw and stuff like that. So it's like you said, it's a high IQ position to have to be able to read the defense just like a quarterback would. So obviously he still has some work to do. He is a rookie, but I love his work ethic. When he plays the game, he just plays it with so much heart and talent, and he's a dog, man. And I can't wait to see what he does this season.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you've said it, Wesley. I mean, you tend to know your team better. So, I mean, for me, it's just kind of interesting that they already had a replacement in place. You don't always have that. You kind of go through guys over and over again, especially on that old line. It can be hard to find the guy or those guys that are supposed to be working really well together. And now that they just found a piece that will work really well for them, I think I'm excited to see what he ends up doing, and whoever ends up being the quarterback, which we'll get into this next segment, but can they protect that quarterback, because we never speak about.
Weren't you guys both? Didn't you guys both want this guy? I think we talked about it when we were talking about the draft and stuff. I thought the Cowboys wanted the center too, right? And was it this guy in particular? And the Steelers ended up getting him.
Yeah.
Cowboys suck, dude. can't even get him. Sorry, I just had to throw it in.
Well,
Speaking
you
of
also wanted
sucking.
the guy from the Oregon too, right, Vice?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, the freaking his name. I forgot who he went to too. He's a big dude.
Well, anyways, while you think of that, speaking of sucking, let's talk about the Steelers quarterbacks.
All right.
So this might be the freaking like one of the top 10 like talented teams that are gonna do shit because their quarterback can't do anything. I mean, they got dogs on, like you said, your offensive line may be a question, but you got wide receiver. Well, you got George Pickens. I've heard that the other wide receiver's not super
after that, there's not much there.
But you got the running backs. I think Warren's going to be injured for a little bit. Muth, as they say in Pittsburgh. And then that defense, obviously. But Justin Fields, he came out and he said that he believes he's shown what he can do and that he should be the quarterback one going into camp. And now also after this, so I think they just had their last preseason game yesterday, the Steelers. Mike Tomlin said that Russell Wilson showed promise in his lone series in their preseason game, and he will make the decision on the quarterback this week. I'll just say I think they're going to end up going with Russell Wilson. But yeah, Wes, I would say, yeah, go off. So Fields thinks he should be the starter. I know that you were really excited about that like trade and everything. What do you think about all that? How do you think this should go for the Steelers?
Well, I think that the Steelers are going to go with the quarterback that's going to put the ball in the least amount of harm, right? They need a guy that's going to be able to get a few first downs that actually establish a drive. And at this point right now, it's definitely Russell Wilson. He puts the ball in a lot less of a, scary situations. He's had the least amount of turnovers. He had the least amount of turnovers, I think, last year, even playing for Denver. So I think that they'll start with Russell Wilson. Maybe throughout the season, if something's not going right, they'll pull like what they did with what's his name? The guy that played for Chicago, that quarterback. Why can't I remember his name right now? The guy that everybody hated. Why can't I remember his name?
Cutler or
no, the recent quarterback. They first round draft pick. Why can't
Fields?
I remember his name? No.
Caleb
the
Williams?
Guy before that.
Before? I don't know who you're talking about.
Anyways, I think that
yeah, go ahead.
Anyways, I think that they will go with Russell Wilson because, like I said, he puts the ball in less worse. Oh, Trubisky, bro. That's who I was talking about.
Okay.
Yeah,
I was like, what?
Do the same
Who
thing that they
about?
did with Trubisky and Kenny Pickett, where Trubisky obviously wasn't getting the job done, so they had to throw in another quarterback, and Kenny Pickett there for a season and a half full, and obviously didn't do anything either. So, yeah,
Guess his hands weren't big enough.
I think he's third on Philadelphia's depth chart now too.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Who's second? Who
I don't know.
did they get?
His name.
Wow, what a surprise. Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, Russell Wilson, I think, should definitely be the starter.
What do you think about Fields saying that, though? Do you like him coming out and like advocating for himself, or do you think that like causes conflict in the locker room?
It might cause conflict between Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson obviously has that confidence with him too, and he always has.
Mr. Unlimited.
But I mean, you have two QBs that came in from starting roles. Obviously, one's gonna have to sit. One came from, or he's an extreme veteran in the league, and then the other one's young, still on his rookie deal. So, I mean, I like that they both have the confidence to come in and try to make something happen in Pittsburgh, just because the culture in Pittsburgh is amazing, right? I mean, everybody loves the Steelers in Pittsburgh, and you got to have a certain amount of talent, a certain amount of confidence. Confidence with you when you play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think they both can fit in pretty well. So hopefully at some point,
what's your dream scenario? Is your dream scenario Russell Wilson starts and plays 17 games, or Fields comes in week 4, week 5, or what do you think?
Well, I mean, I think that
not what do you think will happen? What do you want to happen? What do I
want to happen?
Yeah. What would be your dream? Like me, Drake May sits the whole year. That's my dream scenario. Might not happen, but what do you want?
Well, it's just hard to say what my dream scenario would be because I need to see how Russell Wilson plays in the system first. You know what I mean? At
Right.
least get a couple weeks in, and then
Good
I can
point.
tell you
Yeah.
exactly what I would want to happen. But I do believe that Justin Fields will start at some point this season.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think I give him probably 6 weeks, 5 to 6, maybe even 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks, I would say, before they make that quarterback change. I think that Mr. Unlimited
Mr.
ends up
Mr. Unlimited.
Unlimited. I think he ends up starting that. You do that so well, dude. One more time.
Still, Mr. Unlimited.
Yeah, I think he ends up
Get some
starting.
ASMR going there for you, Face. He's like, I just like how you said that. It just sounded
Just
so
say
good.
it one more time for me, please.
Hey, just one more time.
Mr. Unlimited.
He's
That's
I don't
good.
know if Ice is
That's
doing
real
over there.
good.
I don't know if Ice is doing over there, but
That's
geez.
real good. I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm back on the point. I think that he does end up starting, but I would give him 6 to 8 weeks where he ends up making some crazy mistakes and they put in Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields could say that he has done enough to prove himself as a starter, but you couldn't even do that really well in where you were at, and you were the guy, and you had receivers. I get
Yeah.
it. The O line was trash, but it's like, you know, Russell Wilson has proven himself that he can do it, and he is the guy. So why would you change that, right? So I give him 6 to 8 weeks, and then we'll see what happens. And then I will say that depending on how the receivers perform, I think that's what's going to happen because they're kind of very similar play style. Like they can stick in the pocket, like I was mentioning with Herbert and Bo. Like they can be in the pocket, but then
Fields isn't
but they
that
can
guy.
come
Fields is
out
a
of it.
guy to run. I feel like Fields bails early. I don't think he's a
Yeah, but
pocket quarterback.
you can't say that though because he did play for the Bears.
Yeah,
Where
and
they
then
didn't
I
have an
get that. I
offensive
get
line.
that. I think that even at Ohio State, if you go back to his Ohio State days, like I think he's been more dynamic as a runner than a passer, like in a Lamar Jackson kind of
like play.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't view Fields as a pocket quarterback. Is
No,
that's
I
all
don't
I'm
think
saying.
he is
I'm
either.
just saying that they both have very similar. I think Russell Wilson's more stay in the pocket a little bit
Yeah,
longer,
yeah. Hmm.
but they can both use their feet to get out and to make something happen. I know Russell Wilson's on the downhill side of it, but there's nothing wrong with starting with your downhill side quarterback and see how it ends up going. Um,
Right.
Giving him some time in the system and then moving on to your young quarterback and giving him the opportunity to move you forward. But I mean, it's just going to be interesting to see what happens with the Steelers. I mean, I think they're going to suck. I think Miles Garrett is going to probably win the Defensive Player of the Year again. And
Back to back, baby. No, it's going to be an interesting situation. I think it's, like I said, one of the most talented teams with one of the most unique quarterback situations where
yeah,
they're both on 1 year deals. The Steelers, like I said, like Wesley said earlier, the Broncos are paying him $36 million or whatever, and the Steelers are paying him one. So it's kind of like there's no risk. There's only reward here. If it
yeah,
doesn't work, then it doesn't work. You have Fields, and then but you're going to have a new option. So what do you go with going forward? Do you look at one of these quarterbacks in the draft next year? Maybe you want Cam Rising. That might be a good guy for you there, Wesley.
He's not going
uh,
to the draft, buddy.
Probably not. I don't know. Quentin Ewers, I know, will be another guy. There's probably some. I think there's going to be some talent. I don't know if Carson Beck will go to the draft, but we'll
Gabriel,
have Dylan Gabriel.
Dylan
Is
Gabriel.
this his last year?
Yeah, he's a senior. There's Brock. There's the guy at Georgia. What's his name?
Carson Beck.
Carson
Yeah,
Beck.
already said
Already
it.
said him. Thanks for listening.
Right. There's also
jerk.
Sanders. I mean, they have some great quarterbacks next year, even too.
Yeah, so it might be something you want to do. But hey, boys, freaking banger! Football is back, back, back,
Football.
back. Football, yes, sir. And that's the thing. In a few short weeks, we're going to be able to see. We're going to be talking about. Okay, it's time for Russell, or it's time for Justin Fields. It's time for, or Russell Wilson's still doing good. We're just a few weeks away, and by the next time we record a podcast, hopefully all our teams should be 1-0 in college. I think that's the way we predicted it. So, dude, we're back. Football is fucking back. So thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to check us out, YouTube, Spotify. So we will be dropping on Wednesdays for the next couple weeks. And then once football comes back, hey, we can't record podcasts on Sundays, boys.
Nope.
Sundays for football.
Yep.
So we'll be moving that. And I think we'll be dropping episodes on Thursdays before Thursday Night Football. So make sure to check those episodes out on YouTube and Spotify, and then check us out on all the socials, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, and TikTok. And give us likes, give us comments. Please let us know what, we need to talk about. Let us know what we missed. And other than that, catch you next time on the couch. See ya.